interacts with the sounds being generated. I mean, is there the other half of that equation? Like, is there an API for manipulating how sounds are projected into the world, or is that pretty simplified?
I think, as far as I remember, they're just using an external library for that. So the SoundService documentation, maybe I'll switch windows back to that, sort of hints at a dependence on something called fmod. I don't know what that is, but it seems like just a general library. Developers looking to find out more about how sound works in Roblox should consult the documentation. And then this is some external thing.
It's a proprietary audio library, isn't it?
I see. So I assume that all these things are just interfacing with that library. I'm not sure.
But when you make a sound and like play it, like you can control like volume or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think you have any ability to do that with the voice that comes out of Spatial Voice. I don't even know where it comes out of. It may be your head part. So I'm curious if I can just move my head and then have the audio come out somewhere else. So maybe we can try. Okay. So let's try something basic. So what should we try first? I think the SetListener is the obvious place to start. So this is just the code from that page. Alright, so let me put a part in the world near a board. I'll need an assistant for this, somebody with spatial audio activated who wants to volunteer.
I have it on.
Okay. So let's try putting this here. I think, let's see, what are the listener types? I have camera C-frame, object position, object C-frame. I guess I should just be able to pass an object to object position. Let me see. Yeah, base part for object position. Okay. Guess that has an orientation in its C-frame which says what direction it's going to be listening from. Yeah, that seems right. So that's kind of where the speaker is going to be. Okay. Just check nothing crashes, and then I'll push it to the live server and we can try it out. I don't know if Spatial Voice works with like collaborative team test and so on in Studio. Let's not worry about that.
Can I just clarify, does anyone know what roll-off scale means? Like, it says how fast it rolls off. I don't really understand what that means.
Yeah, the volume will be some function of the distance, and it will change the coefficient in that function, I guess. I mean, it's a bit similar. The way audio works in general has this roll-off mode in it.
Wait, but is that different to distance factor?
Yeah, good question.
Because
Can't be completely different, right?
the higher the roll-off scale, the more rapidly a 3D sound's volume will attenuate as the distance between the listener and sound increases.
Okay, I'm just starting up Roblox. If somebody with spatial voice enabled can go and stand near that part, and then I'll... Oh, I didn't anchor it. Okay. I guess I should mute you in... Well, you can mute yourself in Discord and speak. Maybe you are. I can't hear you.
I did.
You're speaking just in spatial voice?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Oh,
Do you want to change Windows to...
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I meant to do that. Roblox is not one of the windows I can share. Why? That's strange. Let me stop sharing and start it again. I guess I don't know why I can't share this screen. Maybe because it's full screen. Okay, let me just minimize it and see if that helps. Yeah, now I can do it. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, now let me move away and hopefully I can still hear you. Speak, please.
can you hear me, Dan?
I can. Okay, now walk away from the ball so we know it's not a trick. Now you're getting softer and softer. Okay. Now, I guess if I stand next to you, I shouldn't hear you. Maybe you can't hear me either. Can you hear me now that I'm near the ball? So what? I guess nobody can hear anybody unless they're near the ball, right? The ball's gone. Okay, no more ball. Alright. Let me anchor it and start this again. I think that worked though. Okay, so keep talking, Billy, while you're approaching so we can... Yep, yeah, that's working well. Okay, so that much works.
Should I hear you when you talk when you're over there?
No, I don't think you should hear. You should only hear people who are close to this ball, right? Because everybody has their set listener set to it. Okay, so that seems to work. So the thing to try now is what? To have a button that sets the set listener to this thing and not? Or should we try messing with the distance factor and so on? Maybe a bit hard to... Okay, maybe I'll have a GUI element that switches the distance factor between a few different values and we can see what that and other effects sound like. Maybe that's a good thing to do. So what effects can I manipulate? Distance factor, ambient reverb, Doppler scale, roll-off scale. Okay, I guess I want to print out what these actually are to start with, because I don't know what the default values are.
Default values of what?
Of these various constants: SoundService distance factor, SoundService roll-off scale, and so on.
If you click into them, I think they tell you. If you just click distance factor,
Oh, I see.
it's 3.33.
Oh, very good. I hadn't looked in here before. Meter is considered 3.33 studs. The more gradually sound will attenuate.
I think a meter is 20 studs.
Yeah.
But characters are very small.
Right. When using larger custom characters. Yeah, I see. Well, I guess let's maybe form an opinion about whether the default is good for talks or not. It seems to me like it attenuates too quickly, right? Okay. Bear with me.
Where's the UI corners?
Okay. Because this is such a refined, beautiful interface. Now you're going to make me all self-conscious. I'm going to spend 10 minutes picking a nice color just to punish you. Look, the font sizes are not big enough. Okay, that's enough.
There should be a library for things like this, right? Like
What?
you can make a pretty general purpose one. Like I want to like connect one sort of variable which can take like different like float values into like a slider or something on a GUI that I can alter in game. Or like just all those different kinds of things. Like I can imagine a library being able to do that.
Yep. I don't know what the default is. C-frame to the camera. Oh, embarrassing. I've forgotten how to get the camera.
Workspace.current camera.
Ah, it's workspace, right. Thanks. Okay, minus button. Alright, so I'm gonna mess with distance factor or roll off mode. Maybe distance factor. And change it by a meter. I'll disable this original one. Yeah. I can't hear my own footsteps. Okay, not a valid C-frame. Given is not a valid C-frame when given enough. Oh, I didn't get the C-frame from the camera. My bad. Alright, I can hear my footsteps. Now I can't. Now I can. Alright, let's try that out.
I think if you set listener type to camera, then you don't need to provide the C frame. It's just the current camera.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I do remember reading that. Okay, I'll change that now. So I don't need to pass the second argument. Yeah, okay.
If you set the first one to
Yeah.
listener type.camera.
Yeah. Cool. guess I can do this all on my own if I listen to my own footsteps. So audience mode is on. Over here. What? Oh, I've got this off. Okay. No, well, that shouldn't make a difference for this part. With audience mode on, I can still hear my footsteps. Oh, now I can't. Those are really loud. Okay. So
when the distance factor is increased, like the max volume is still what you would hear if you were standing like right on top of the speaker, right?
I guess, yeah. Maybe I should put something in the world making sound near this. That'll be easier.
You ended the stream, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it easier if I join and just talk there?
Yeah, that might help. Let me put something so I can see the distance factor before you join.
Beautiful.
Thanks. I'm never quite sure if I have to wrap that in something or not.
Usually I don't until it yells at me.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah, that's less beautiful. Okay, maybe a half is more sensible anyway.
I have a feeling that if you didn't do 2-string, it wouldn't give you that many decibels.
Oh, really? Huh. Anyway, I don't care. Solved. Okay, while I'm here, is there anything else I want to do? Oh, I wanted to put some audio near the thing. Well, no, actually, I do want someone to speak, right? Because if it affects music or whatever, that's one thing. But if I want to know whether these SoundService things, parameters affect the spatial voice or not. So.
Alright, I'll be there.
Yep. Alright, so I should hear you as normal right now, yeah? Yep. Okay, so I think you should head over to the sphere. Yep. Okay, right now I can't hear you. Presumably you're talking. Yep. Yep, that's good. It's working. Can you walk around the ball a bit? Yeah. Yeah, positionally that's working well.
Hello, test 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Okay, maybe now let's stand over here somewhere and let me see what distance factor is going to do to the volume. Okay, now talk. Present something on the board. Prove a theorem from Euclid. Go. Prove the triangle inequality from today. Were you paying attention? Okay, maybe stand a bit further away from the ball. Distance factor doesn't seem to do anything. Can you stand a bit further away and let me try adjusting distance factor now? I forget whether increasing or decreasing it was supposed to do something. Well, both. But larger... the greater the distance factor, the more gradually sound will attenuate. That's what I want. Okay. I can't hear you at all now. You're speaking, presumably. Hello? I can't hear you at all. Oh, I had audience mode still on. Okay, that's why I should have a modal thing. Okay. Yeah, come back. Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, let's just stay at a fixed distance and talk. Okay, I'm going to set it back to the normal number and then... Okay, so count please from 1. No, okay, yeah, thanks. Distance factor doesn't affect the spatial voice. Alright, that's worth knowing. Okay, that means that apart from SetListener, I don't think there's any way of manipulating what we hear from a speaker. I think having the audio for a speaker come from this ball is okay. If you're standing near it, the audio is fine, I think. What do you mean?
They set, like, each client sets where their ear is, right? Or where their listener is, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a presenter, how they set that ear to follow the presenter?
Oh, I see. Just move it with the presenter, or set it to their head or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I don't necessarily want to have a system that designates a given character the speaker or something, or have somebody maintain that. It would be easier if there were like speech locations or something like that. But
What do you mean by speech location?
well, I mean, okay, I think one advantage of the spatial voice is that you know when you're alone, or you know when people are listening to you or not, to some degree, right? You don't have complete confidence in that, but part of the purpose of having spatial voice is to allow people to have conversations, not necessarily that are secret, but that are like, you know, not everybody is going to hear them, at least in principle. If you have audience mode where the set listener is following somebody's head, well, then you don't know who's listening to you, or at least that seems to work against the implicit contract in spatial voice somehow. Whereas if you have some sort of special objects like these spheres and they're very distinctive, then you know that when you're near that sphere, somehow anybody could be listening. That was my thinking, anyway. I mean, I guess you could have that sphere follow the presenter around.
Right, so you want the spheres to be like microphones.
Yeah, something like that.
Because, like, I mean, if you enter within some radius of the sphere, like, like your listener might start following, like, the designated head, right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I suppose that's not exactly what you want to say that if you step in within radius of the sphere, other people will start hearing you, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and can you have more than one listener?
Yeah. I mean, anybody else who joins here and clicks audience mode will also be listening from the same sphere.
Yeah, but I mean, can one client have multiple listeners?
Oh, I don't think so. Well, I mean, if I call SetListener twice, the second time will just overwrite the first time.
Is there like yet unreleased
Yeah, I think there's been some developer comments maybe on the forum that there's an API coming or more of an API coming. I expect that. Yeah, I guess that's true that we can either delay dealing with this until a more full API is released or just have a provisional solution which can be refined later. However, maybe there's enough of an API already. I mean, what more would we want? Well, apart from modifying the volume so that
you want to hear both people that are close enough to like some sphere microphone, but you also want to hear like
I don't know about that. I think there's some simplicity in if you have audience mode on, then you're just listening from the point of view of that sphere, and if you have it off, you're listening from where you are. I don't think it's. I mean, if you're wandering around in the world, I think it's not. I think you can accept that as being the price of maintaining your ear stuck to that ball.
Yeah, so I think some toggle between those two would be appropriate. I think we call it like you could have it could like literally be a microphone that you like pick up and equip to your backpack and hold in your hand. You put it down and it like I don't know, it wouldn't have to be like a tiny little microphone. But yeah, something like that it'd be cool if the presenter could like pick it up and they like now possessing it.
Yeah, I like that idea. In particular, one thing to consider is the fact that, well, maybe there's more than one presenter at a time, or more than one location you'd maybe want to use the audience mode on, right? So having just a single button that you click, I mean, there are several venues in this particular world, right? So if you click audience mode, which one are you listening from? You could select them from a list or something, but at that point, why not have, if you had multiple microphones like the one you're speaking about, and then you could select based on the name of who's holding it, or I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But wait, in these solutions, you can wander around the world and still hear the presenter, but like they can't hear you, right? Because you're not near the microphone.
Yeah, I don't. That's the next thing I want to try is like moving your head, or like where does this noise I'm making actually come from? Is it the origin of that 3D positional audio? Is it my head? And if so, can I move my head and speak out of something else? So let's try that.
Am I missing any commentary from people in Discord?
No, I'm not hearing anything from anybody else.
Should I?
I think you.
Jump back?
Yeah, I think you can jump back. Okay, so now I'm going to try and speak out of some other object. Maybe out of this thing. By, I don't know. If I change the C frame of my head part, am I just going to die? I don't know what's going to happen if I try and do that. Guess we'll find out. Okay, so we did figure out the distance factor doesn't do anything with regards to spatial voice, which is kind of disappointing.
But we did determine that, like, who you're hearing is dependent on where SetListener is.
Yeah, that works, right. So that's as expected, that works. But there doesn't appear, the existing API of SoundService doesn't appear to affect, I mean, you might have naively thought that the spatial voice was just generic 3D positional audio like any other sound that would come out of an object if you parented a sound to it and played it, right? But apparently it's special audio to which the API doesn't apply. Okay, I'm just going to make this somehow modal. Okay, I'll give it a transparent background and make it not transparent if it's on. Is there any way to do bold text?
Yeah, like, you know the HTML flags?
No. What?
It'll just be like B, like...
Oh, I can actually write HTML.
Yeah. Like that.
Oh, what? No. Oh,
Like
rich
that
text.
box, rich text.
Okay. Okay, I'm very glad I asked this question.
You can even do multi-lines, but you can't... I don't think you can, like, edit it in that rich text field, but you can do it if you, like, set the rich text or the text value using the command console. Like, and then you can throw in new line characters.
Sorry, say that again. Okay.
I think he's saying, like, you can't do a new line just by typing it into that box, but if you set it through code, then it works.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right, thanks. Okay, so now I'm going to try and make my spatial voice come out of some other place.
source of about 99% of my bugs are like copying and pasting, not like certain things.
Yeah, you're about to point out a bug. That's what.
No, I was just came to mind while
Okay, so what am I gonna do? Just put my head C-frame. I could try that. It's kind of stupid, but it'd be worth knowing. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna get it back. This is not gonna work. Player character. What does my player character have in it? Is it just head? Oh, it's in the world, isn't it? Yeah, head. Surely that's where the audio comes from. Oh, okay.
By the way, all the other sounds come from humanoid root part. Like if you look in there, you'll see like climbing, died sound.
Oh, interesting.
So that's like my next guess.
Yeah, I did not know that. Huh. Yeah, that's a good bit. All right.
After that, probably right lower leg.
Yeah, good guess. All right. How does Roblox Studio decide when to ask me whether I want to keep changes to my scripts when I'm running? I have no idea. Just like sometimes I'm making a change and it'll ask me, sometimes not.
I think there's a preference for it in
Okay.
like studio settings.
Oh, what did I do? Oh, I know what it is. Alright, goodbye head. Oh, it takes my whole body. Okay. Oh, did I change the transparency of the text? Not that that matters. No. Oh, background transparency.
Do you know what an attachment is? Like face center attachment.
A center attachment.
Because I'm just wondering if one of these is like a weld constraint thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What happens when you like when you die and all your body parts fall apart? Like, is there a way to figure that? But like, no, it's
Yeah.
violent.
Yeah, if that's involved, I'm not sure I want to do it. I mean, I guess that's one way to ask a question, but that kind of violates the spirit of things somewhat. I guess you. Well, we could fake it, right? Like we could move their actual body over there, but keep a copy of their body here and keep their camera here. So it's as if they're not over there, and make the other copy invisible so that your true self is over there. You ask your question and then you let it go and you come back.
Nice. Have you checked if what if the sound is coming out of the current camera? Is that?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I mean, would that fail to make sense if because if you zoom out, then I imagine you can probably hear other people. Or maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe we should just.
As you free cam the current camera around, that does change where your input comes from. So that's actually quite possible. Okay, should we test that?
Yeah, I'll join.
Okay, I think I should be able to use my. Okay, so then I'll change this. Audio mode is just changing SetListener. Let me change head mode to just change my camera.
I was just thinking I would just zoom out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because then my camera's really far away.
Yeah, okay, that'll do. Alright, let's try it.
Alright, I'm going off Discord.
Yep. Hello. Yep. Alright. I can hear you, yeah. Can you hear me? Da 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 da.
Yeah, it is the camera. I move away and I can't hear you.
Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The camera is where I'm listening from. I wonder if it's where I'm speaking from. So I'm gonna count. Can you hear me if I zoom out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I can't hear you, yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was no change.